What is up, tech fans and tech enthusiasts all around the world? This is episode 7 of the Tech Lounge, and I am joined by Tech Showdowns. Kev, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Brian. Yeah, it's been really nice lately. Been getting out a lot of good content lately, getting a bit more into the peripherals and just trying to smash out as much content as I can before Christmas break.
Yeah,
how
that's
about you,
it.
man?
Yeah, same, man. I'm on that same trajectory. I just getting videos done before Christmas. There's just so much. There's an influx of everything coming in. I'm like, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? And, lately, I've been getting sent the cases, right? And I've been doing, those builds that you've been seeing with the case reviews. That's sort of like, well, why don't I do something different with the cases, right? So, and, the way that I think about it, right, with that, straight up is like, okay, the case is expensive, especially the Corsair one, the 570X. That blows the budget out of proportion. You've got $500 PCs becoming a $700 PC, or whatever. Thing is, I'm not putting a gun to anyone's head and making them buy that case.
No, I mean that's the thing. There's different things for different people, man. I mean, just a sec, dude. The chat is disabled for this live stream.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. Good spot. I will just get that up, and I will enable live chat, and we should be good to go now. So, basically, we should be back in business now. And I had one guy just absolutely blasting me like, oh, you used a new case, and I'm like, yeah, well, I want to make a case review interesting, and I've had a lot of good feedback from it when I did the Deepcool case review in the last PC. So that was something I thought, well, it would make for a really good review. And,
for sure. No, I mean that's just sort of the thing, like. It's fine doing a lot of the budget stuff, like all the value for money stuff, because that's going to be the most applicable to people out there and all of that. But at the same time, there's people out there that obviously a lot less, but there's still people out there that want these really high-end type things. And probably the ultimate is what Playtech TV, my friend Greg over there, did a video on the other day, which I've seen in person when I've been at Playtech. And that's the InWin D-Frame 2.0. That is a $2,000 case.
Oh yeah, man! They make some expensive cases. I remember seeing some limited edition cases of those in Akihabara in Japan. Damn, man! They were expensive cases, but they looked really freaking good. And that's when tempered glass was kind of coming in. That was a couple of years ago. That's when it was like coming in, but it was very expensive. And that's why I said like in the 570X review, it's actually pretty good price, right? You're paying 180 US or 280 for a tempered. It's all tempered glass, the whole thing. Side panels, roof, front as well. So it was. I tested the 460. Oh yeah, how'd you like that?
Yeah, it was probably pretty similar to the 570, but it was quite nice. This new Crystal series from Corsair. I mean, it's only going to appeal to certain people out there that want all that tempered glass to really show things off. I would say in terms of, which is I knew the biggest question everyone would ask me, and I covered it in the video, fingerprints. It's pretty good, but it's not like you can put your whole hand on it and then take it off and you're not going to have any lasting marks. You still have to be somewhat careful, but it's not an absolute magnet in that you touch it once and then like the fingerprint's there forever. Did you test that when you did your review on it? Did you see with the fingerprints on it? Because that was a big concern a lot of people had with these.
On the tempered glass, that thing's going to be a fingerprint magnet, man. I've got tempered glass monitors here, and that's a drawback of using tempered glass. Anything with gloss is going to hate fingerprints.
But it wasn't as bad as people might think it is. I'll put it that way. That was the only thing I noticed. It's not that bad.
Drop a few fingerprints on it. It's not too bad. I mean, that's a drawback of using anything with a gloss surface. I mean, you're going to get fingerprints there. I thought the fans were incredible though. That's those 3 fans.
Oh, the new Corsair fans. That's what I run in my rig, and they're really, really good. Corsair have really, before they had the AF series and the SP series, and people sort of always would overlook them.
Yeah.
But these new magnetic ones are really, really good, and that's what I run in my rig, and I really like them. So yeah, they've really hit back nicely in terms of the fan department, because it seemed like Noctua almost had like a monopoly for a while in terms of having the best fans out there. But yeah, so no, that's been pretty nice, eh? So do we want to move on to the first article, which is about the RX460?
Boss Kev, do we want to move on? Yeah, I was just going to say, you can go to the forums.
Go to the forums,
and you get
check them out.
Tech City Bro Fist. I think that's the latest thing going on.
Oh god!
Some dude started that. Well, some dude started that up, man, on the forums. So I was like, all right, I'll go along with it. So we got here RX470. I actually got one of these here. Now I only saw this article when I woke up before, so I was like, well, got to get the live stream ready. I'm not going to be able to actually test this, but I will do this. There's a mod up, and you can unlock some extra stream processors on an RX460. And there was a guy over at overclocking.guide, DeBoer. Is that, I mean, Jack DeBoer? Is that, I don't know what. So anyway, there's a guy who's done this, and he says it works on both the Asus RX460 Strix and also the Sapphire RX460 Nitro. And so yeah, that's exactly the one I got here, the Nitro. So apparently you can BIOS flash it, and you can then unlock more stream processors. Well, I haven't actually done it yet, but yeah, I'm assuming that's how it works. So yeah, get the unlock BIOS, and then you will unlock extra stream processors. So isn't that a real cool thing? You can go from
it's cool.
Yeah, well, you can go from, what is it, 896 to 1024. Now with that, we look at the benchmarks here. Now you're looking at the benchmarks here. You can see that I think the Strix fared better. I think they were looking at an extra like 9 or 10% performance. The Nitro gained an extra 5%, which is really good. I mean, this is free performance out of your graphics card. And I mean, it's coming close to a GTX 1050. I mean, I'd like to see it sort of getting neck and neck with a 1050, but at the same time, it's still good for AMD, and especially for people who have already bought a RX 460, for them to get that extra performance for nothing. It's really nice, and I want to say it's probably not going to be exclusive just to what Brian said, the Sapphire and the Asus. I was reading some guy with an MSI managed to do it as well, but you would have to read around first. I would say the only thing to watch out for is you can brick your GPU doing this. You can fix that. Ideally, if you had another spare GPU, then you could chuck that in, use that as your display, and then that's true,
go in and fix the bricked one. But if you do not have a spare GPU, say your 460 is your... And let's be fair, if you're running an RX 460, you were probably on a budget when you built your rig, so you're probably not going to have another GPU laying around unless maybe it was a really old one. You might run into that problem. Now, that's not to say that's going to happen with everybody, and in the past, when people have done this with, I remember the R9 290s, it was a big thing, flashing them to be like a 290X, but that had a much higher risk. That was like really, really risky until AMD patched it, and then you couldn't do it anymore, which I think might be the case with this as well. So you might want to do it somewhat quickly. But yeah, this is still cool. As Brian was saying, you're getting like it's about a 10% performance bump. It'll depend on the model, but yeah, it's free performance. You may as well, but just keep that in the back of your minds that you could potentially have that problem. So if you're
most CPUs have those iGPUs. Even like a Pentium has an iGPU on there. So most people are going to have backup GPUs. But yeah, it is something to be actually cautious of, very cautious. Yeah, especially if you brick it and you're like, oh my god, did I just ruin my massive graphics card? And at the same time, another thing to be wary of, and one thing is that have those stream processors been disabled for a reason? If you do this and you have the extra portion that has faulty stream processors on there, you're gonna have a bricked card. You know what I mean? So like, it is a little bit of a gamble in that aspect as well. So,
no, exactly. So, I mean, it's still not going to bring it that close to the RX470 for those of you out there that are wondering. It's also different architecture with the 470 and 480 being on Polaris 10, whereas the 460 is on Polaris 11. But the 470 has 2048 stream processors, so it's still a while away from that. But it's still a good step up.
One thing that I didn't touch on in my review of this, is this here would make for an amazing, or it'd be way better than a 1050 for OpenCL over CUDA. For instance, if you want a cheap, editing video card on the money, this thing here would be really good. It'd beat a 1050 or a 1050 Ti. If you're on a budget, unlock those extra stream processors if you can. And then you've got yourself a little cheap card for 4K video editing. This thing would do absolutely fine for 4K video editing. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So it's a great little OpenCL card. And in my experience, OpenCL is a lot more, once you start utilizing that power, price to price, the AMD cards really start to beat the Nvidia cards. I noticed this on Premiere Pro when I was testing that 7870, and I was comparing it versus 660 Ti. 7870 was just sitting at like 50%, and it was, just breezing through it. The 660 Ti was struggling. Like, it was like, help me. Is running out of breath. So, this would be like a great little card on a budget for video editors, So
yeah.
You pick it up cheap enough. But then again, there's that argument, you might as well go for the RX470, and I completely agree. I mean, that's just
such good value for money.
Yeah, that's where the sweet spot is. So
someone asked just quickly, you can answer this, Brian. What is the best program for OpenCL video editing? Premiere Pro?
Yeah, I mean, I don't use much. I don't use much else. I mean, Premiere Pro is just so damn good. You've got, you've got the Audition with there. So basically, what you do is you can just load in your your video clip, your audio clip, right-click on it, open with Audition, and then you can just live on the fly. You can start editing your audio, save it on the fly, and then that will be applied in your video timeline. So, you can apply compressors to it on the fly. You can do this, do that. I mean, I might have to make a tutorial if you guys want to see it on how I edit, and how I spice up my audio and whatnot. And, even if you're in a bad condition, bad environment, which I am at the moment, I don't really have the most ideal conditions for recording audio, you can still get a really good final signal with the tools that Premiere Pro offer you, and then you've got thumbnails from Photoshop, and then you've got, if you want to edit with After Effects, you can do that. There's just so much you can do with the whole package. And I mean, I get it for like 15 Australian dollars a month. It's so damn cheap, for what you're actually getting. Really, it's the all in one. I mean, a lot of people like Vegas, and Vegas is really good. It just wasn't for me because of how
I use. I use Vegas 13. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's good. I just found it really annoying when I was using it and trying to just organizing my clips. I found Premiere Pro was so much better. Just you go through, you press C, you press V, you cut, you pick. It was just so much quicker. And then of course, so we got that first article done. I think this is another big article that people want to talk about, though, the Intel licensing agreement. It's apparently rumored that Intel is going to be teaming up in 2017 with AMD. It's actually been confirmed by a guy at Hard OCP, Carl Bennett.
Well, it's not. I wouldn't say it's been confirmed. It's still, I would say, rumored. Confirmed means they've officially said, where this is just someone posted on a forum. Yeah. So I don't think it's 100% confirmed, but it definitely, that adds a lot more likelihood, that he said that. But it would be a very interesting move, because the Intel Nvidia deal they currently have has been quite a good little moneymaker for Nvidia, which has been making $66 million per quarter. So 264 million per financial year. And that's a lot of money for Nvidia to lose by going over to and that's just through a cross-licensing agreement. So if Intel went towards AMD, then wow, good for AMD.
Well, that'd be 260 million less for Nvidia every year. But also at the same time, I'm sure AMD would be well poised to make a better deal. You know what I mean? It's in AMD's better interest. Like, hey, let's make a deal. So I guess Intel, and they're looking for the best deal. They're not going to care. They're going to be like, all right, who's going to offer us the cheapest cross licensing agreement? Bang, we're going to go with you. So this deal ends in 2017. But one thing that this really good article from Mark Hibben here from Seeking Alpha. So he points to the fact that even though the licensing agreement, that's when the payments stop in 2017, Intel still has access to those patents to when they expire. And now if that patent's made right at the end of 2017 before the actual payments stop, they still have access to that patent to when that patent expires. You see?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the agreement is kind of in favor of Intel. So what are Intel exactly going to do with this remains to be seen. So the particulars of this deal, it's like, I know a lot of people are going to be like, and I want to see AMD. Don't worry. I mean, I want to see AMD start making some money again. So they can start putting it into R&D and whatnot. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, we've got to be cautious. Like, I can't, wishful thinking. When you're running,
they are making money though now. You've seen their revenues up. They're doing, it seems like I feel, I want to believe anyways that AMD's
that's what I said, we have to believe.
Yeah, well, we have to believe that they're right on the cusp of a big turnaround. Their CEO, what's her name, Lisa Su, I believe. Yeah. It just, you got to hope. And that's not me or Brian being AMD fanboys. It's because we're not. I know for a fact that Brian isn't, and I'm not. Yeah. It's the fact you guys want this as well. Intel and Nvidia need a really good kick up the backside from AMD to really get them innovating again and get them like actually feeling like, wow, we actually have to try again to get back the market. And so you really do want Zen to really, give Intel a kick up the backside and Vega to give Nvidia a kick up the backside. Yeah. And at worst, it's going to bring prices down regardless. So, I'm hoping that this will be a good turnaround. And if this deal does go through in favor of AMD, then that'll be good lot of money. It probably, obviously, they're going to have to undercut Nvidia, so I don't think it'll be the same sort of deal money-wise, but it'll still be.
I have to tell I have to tell the audience about this article.
Which article?
You go to next, and then it'll pop up with a thing. But before it pops up with that message, you can quickly paint shop it, and then read the whole article. and then you can go up the top and type page 3 and do the same thing.
And just keep going through. Yeah.
It's like, I just wanted to read this article. I didn't want to sign up to anything. I just wanted to read this article because it was juicy. So I gotta fess up. So does that make me a bad person?
No, it makes you a smart person. But the other thing, I was just seeing someone talk about it. Yeah. We talked about this a bit last week with Zen, that apparently some of the integrated graphics on some of the Zen CPUs, I can't remember which one from memory, will be running a Vega. That'll be the architecture they'll be using. So that could be quite interesting. So you could get even though I doubt this would be the case, something similar on an Intel chip, which would be quite interesting. But yeah, this is hard to say right now. We're not saying anything official. It's just there's a whole bunch of rumors swirling about this, and it could be a very good move for AMD to give them that extra cash flow, which they can put into things like Brian said, like R&D and other good stuff like that.
Any extra money for AMD, essentially, they've got to take the fight to Nvidia. And I thought, like, this is the thing, when I was, a few years ago, I was a bit of a noob. I was like, well, they're gonna have to deal with self-competition. But one thing I underestimated was the growth of enthusiast PC hardware. Now, Nvidia has gained the most out of that. Definitely. You look at Nvidia's growth, it's been phenomenal over the last couple of years. Especially when they hit with the GTX 970, then this year with Pascal, they've just absolutely slaughtered it in terms of revenue and making money, and that's come from the growth of enthusiast PC gaming, arguably. Now, with this, I mean, Intel haven't really seen the best of this either, because they haven't been giving the updates, right? Because they haven't been giving the gains. They've kind of seen a slowdown, right? You look at the emergence of used PCs, for example. That's exploded over the last year.
Oh, sure.
It's because the IPC gains just aren't there. And with Kaby Lake, it's looking like it's the same thing. So really, I mean, there is that self-competition factor there, but not really, because we've seen with Intel, they're charging $1,700 now for their flagship CPU, and that's because there is no competition out there, and they're just sort of, and I guess I underestimated not only the growth in the enthusiast PC market, but also I underestimated the power of marketing.
Yeah.
Like the power of marketing, flagship 10 core, and then they've got Streamer X is rocking this 10 core, and you like Streamer X, and you've come into a bit of money, you're going to go and buy a 10 core because your favorite streamer uses this 10 core. I mean, Intel are just so damn good, and same with Nvidia now. They're so damn good with marketing, and it's one thing that I underestimated. So,
you're exactly right. I mean, that's what their main thing is, but you're also right in that a lot of people are going towards these used PCs. Someone messaged me the other day saying they were on quite a small budget looking to build a gaming PC. I actually told him to check out Tech City, Brian's channel, because Brian does a lot of used PC type stuff. But I said to him, he was like, I'm not sure if I should go with like a new CPU and then maybe pair it with an older GPU. And I said, hey man, honestly, the IPC gains are just not really there for Intel. I said you could honestly go as far back as Sandy Bridge, and you would still, a 2600K, get that thing up to 4.5. That's a good CPU. And I would say you could get away with something like that. Yeah. And then run put the rest, I said the main budget should always be on GPU. For a gaming PC, the main chunk of the budget should be on GPU, and the rest can be on everything else. But the most expensive thing should be the GPU, in my opinion. And and that's what I told him to do. And he was like, oh, well, because he thought, he needed Broadwell. And I said, no, you can go all the way back to, not Broadwell, I mean Skylake.
Sandy.
Yeah, you can go back. And
the list goes on, and they're still really good for gaming, man. Those CPUs. But, the aforementioned points that I said before as well, that's why we need AMD. You know what I mean? I underestimated the power of marketing. I underestimated the growth of the enthusiast PC market. And that's why us open-minded guys who can be cynical in ways, but also can see through a lot of this, that's why we need AMD to be competitive. So,
exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, do we want to move on to the next topic? AMD Relive. I mean, what do you guys think it is in the comments? Let me know. Do you think it should be Relive or Relive? I mean, officially it's Relive, yeah?
I actually don't know. I mean, Relive makes not really much sense to me, but Relive is sort of like, that sort of seems like it was like the Crimson, the whole Radiant thing was dead, and then it needed to be like brought back to life, so...
Well, I think Zen's the real Relive. I mean, if it does provide and live up to the hype, then that will be reliving AMD. Like, you will be reliving AMD again. I think that's what we're all waiting out for, is Zen. And Vega,
I really hope so. I mean, as we talked about last week, one thing we can pretty much say for sure right now, to put a lot of you guys at ease, is at least the platform it's going to be on looks very promising. In terms of having everything that you would expect on with a Skylake platform, a Z170 or potentially a Z270, as we'll talk about a bit later.
Yeah.
But that's really good, because that was what a lot of people had issues before with the AM3 Plus platform, was that it was just not really there. It's so behind now. Like, it's just so massively behind. So that's one thing we can say for sure. That's really good.
Yeah, well, the thing about Relive is in that I was actually talking with Steve over at Hardware Unboxed, and he's really cool. He's going to be coming on the show next week as well, so get hyped. It was really cool because we were talking about this, and I quickly did the install of the drivers, and then I had some problems. So that was something to be wary of. If you are coming from a Crimson update and you're going straight into Relive, I would definitely use DDU, and I'll put the link in the description when it's ready. Direct driver uninstaller. That thing from Guru 3D. That thing is awesome. And get that, completely uninstall your Crimson drivers, and then do your Relive update, and then think shit. Because I had problems, like Counter-Strike wouldn't even boot after that. Like, I had some weird problems, so definitely do a complete uninstall, going from Crimson to Relive. But on that note, when I was trying Relive, I was really impressed. It was like, damn, this is the first iteration of this, and it's already working this damn good. Like, it was working really well. I mean, even that chill feature, I actually liked that chill feature. It was pretty cool, like, especially if you're, just sitting back and relaxing and whatnot. And yeah, if you're a camper, you're going to enjoy that. So...
Yeah, do you want to maybe explain, because maybe some people don't actually know how it works. Do you want to sort of explain what it's basically about?
I guess basically what it is, it's connected with your mouse and keyboard input. I definitely know that now because, I booted up Infinite Warfare just to test if it was actually, movement based on movement going in the pixels or if it was movement with the input. And, that game came into a bug. Where I was like, whoa, I can move my keyboard, but I can't move my mouse. Like whenever I moved my mouse, it just wouldn't move, even though I could actually fire the left and right mouse. So I knew the mouse was kind of half working. And then when I turned off the chill feature, the mouse would move again. But the thing is, what I had with that was that I had the FPS counter up. And when I turned on chill and then started moving that mouse, the FPS dropped from like 80 to 40. And I was like, oh, okay. Wow. Sorry, when I moved the mouse, it went from 40 to 80, my bad. And then when I stopped, put the hand off the keyboard and the mouse, it went down to 40 again. So essentially when you're not moving at all, so if you go to answer the door or whatever, you're just going to be saving a little bit of power on your GPU if you've left up your, game up. So
yeah,
pretty cool. I mean, especially if you die as well. Like, for instance, if you're in Counter-Strike and you die early, you know what I mean? And you're just watching someone else, then it's going to be saving you power, right? So that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it's a good feature to have, and they added support for some of the older AMD Radeon series GPUs in Wattman, which Wattman actually have you used it much? I quite like it actually.
I just stick with my good old Afterburner, man. I'm so used to Afterburner. I like it better.
It's quite basic, but it's very easy to use, and I actually quite liked it. I didn't find anything wrong with it that I didn't really. I mean, maybe it'll be a little bit basic for some people out there, but it's still pretty reasonable. But I think the main thing a lot of people will be looking at with this update is now you can use FreeSync in borderless full screen mode, which is something I'd seen a lot of people asking for. So for you guys out there, you're going to really enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I've got to actually get a FreeSync monitor. I actually want to get some of those that LG 4K FreeSync supported monitor with the IPS panel, that thing is looking really good. I mean, you can pick that up for sometimes $400. And I mean, that's awesome. And, I'm guessing the new Vega card will support 4K. So, for a reason, and this is
you would hope so.
Well, I mean, yeah, you'd hope so. But I mean, the good thing about 2016 is that like high-res gaming has actually become pretty damn affordable. That's one of the things that I'm really impressed about. Yeah. And that's one thing that's coming out of this, and it's awesome. All we need is Zen, and then damn, what a shake-up. I mean, you could see some real good, even brand new 4K builds coming in, maybe under $1,000. And then throw on a monitor there. You could get the whole system kitted out for $1,500, 4K gaming, like keyboard, mouse, monitor, everything, $1,500. Like, wow, that's what's I think to come. Something like that. Really 2 years ago, that would have set you back $5,000. So you can see how much value you're getting. So that's what I'm loving about this. That's what I love about PC building as well. Things are getting so damn good. It's getting competitive. AMD just has to hit hard with Zen, and that's why we have to believe. You just have to believe. AMD for life. That's what we need. Those guys in the comments. Where are you at? We need these guys
again.
We need them in the comments, man. Until Zen's released. Get hyped. Right. So here we got this AMD 16-core CPU pictured. I mean, this was the next thing, the Naples. And I was looking through this, and I stopped at the part where it said level 3 cache here, 512.
Oh boy!
Yeah,
so much.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you get two of these together, that's a gigabyte. Or is that's 32 cores, not 16 cores? I think the article AMD 16 core picture isn't. Don't they mean it's a? Oh wait, did they picture the 16 core and then rumor about 16? Because it's 32 cores. Yeah, their flagship's got 32 cores. Now, if you put two of these together, there's going to be 64 cores, I believe, 128 threads.
64 thread. Oh, it says. No, maybe they were talking about the threads because it says 16 core, but maybe they were talking about Summit Ridge, which is 8 core, like it should, thread.
Like because Intel has their flagship and that's 24 cores, so apparently AMD is going well above that.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean I'm not too sure here. I don't know what's going on, but
that's pretty good. It's still ridiculous though. 32 core, 64 thread.
So it says here
512 cache.
It says here this particular. So they've only got a picture of the 16 core, but apparently there's the 32 core coming. You see what I mean? And this is the specs for it here. So you put two of these together, you're gonna have a gigabyte of level 3 cache. Like what the hell? SQL database servers, they're gonna go nuts over this. Like that's basically that this thing is gonna be the SQL king.
Yeah, I mean this will be really good in that they were saying this is part of the market AMD really needs to capture in terms of making capture money
everything.
Well,
they need to capture everything.
Well, they do. That's right. But that this will also be good to capture some of that market, which I think is quite nice. But yeah, it's just crazy though. I mean, a lot of people are really gonna like that, but the speeds are pretty good on it as well. The Naples, what's that? 1.4 base, 2.8 turbo. Yeah, that's not bad.
That's pretty good. Well, that'll be like dynamic. You know what I mean? That'll be 2 cores or whatever goes to 2.8. It'll be pretty much structured the same as Broadwell E. The same thing here is like if we look to the right of that, Summit Ridge's specs is looking really good too. So that's one thing I'm liking there as well. That level 2 cache is actually pretty fat on the Summit Ridge. So, I just got a feeling this will make for a cool gaming PC. It was one thing that I did note when I did test the FX 8350 versus that 4670K. I noticed in some games where there wasn't that sort of CPU bottleneck. I noticed when the AMD card started running really smooth, when it started hitting over 60 FPS constantly, it was such a smooth 60 FPS. It was crazy. I was like, damn, this is just so damn smooth. And that's something that I'll never forget about that FX 8350. It was something that was really good. It impressed me. So, Summit Ridge, I'm just looking forward to this. It's something different. I can't wait for it. And hopefully it just becomes the gamer's king. And then hopefully Naples hits the server market hard. That's what I'm really hoping for. I'm hoping that AMD can really make a massive push with these CPUs. Because they really need to. Anyway.
Yeah, sure.
We got here another rumor about Polaris XT2 and Polaris 12 spotted in I think it was a Mac driver or something. Like, so, they got the hex viewer on, and just, everyone's going crazy here. Even, I just love this first comment. I got to point this out. The hype thrusters activated.
So this could be that what they're saying is this could be a chip for just Apple devices, but it is sort of hard to say at this stage. But yeah, I mean it's kind of crazy. People look for like obviously he would have just Control F or something and tried find. Well, I mean it's on a Mac, so maybe not. But the I don't know why you would be looking for this though.
Oh, well, I guess everyone's looking, is it coming closer to market? You know what I mean? So, if you're putting it in drivers and whatnot, then, Vega 10's actually being real, you know what I mean? So, I guess people just want confirmation of that, and this is confirmation. So, the funny thing is, you've also got an XT2 there as well. So, does that mean they're sort of bringing out a gigahertz edition of whatever, 2 gigahertz, 1.5 gigahertz edition? I don't know, but they did that with the 7970 or something, so...
Well, yeah, it could be. I mean, this is what one of the comments, if you want to scroll down so people can see under the hype thrusters one, was someone said the Polaris XT2 is going to be the RX485 and the Polaris 12 to be the RX490, and then Vega 10 will be the new Fury. So this will be similar to the last generation where you had the 300 series and then you had the Fury series. So that's what they're saying might be the case this time around, which it's very likely possibility that could be the case.
Well, that 687F, this is referring to this benchmark that just showed up with a GPU with an unknown device ID. So everyone's assuming that was Vega, which could very well be, because it's the good news is it's scoring like in between a 1080 and a 1070, which is really damn good. So that's exactly where this card needs to hit. That's exactly the market AMD needs to capture. So I can't.
Well, it seems like it's quite square. It's quite bizarre because those benchmarks, there's 1070s and 1080s all together at the same FPS. So maybe those are stock 1080s and maybe really highly overclocked 1070s. So it seems to be hitting that area, which is where people thought it would probably be, is just around the same as a 1080.
That's all it needs to be around, honestly. Hey, as long as Nvidia keep releasing, terrible driver updates like GeForce Experience 3 and whatnot, then all AMD does has to, ride on cruise control essentially, and people will be switching over based on principle. But besides that, I mean, I can't wait for this card because it'll just shake, it'll be another shake up to the market. But I'm worried about, like, we've seen this before with Nvidia. Like they've always held that real big flagship card. They just held it out there, and then they've waited for AMD's card to get so close to release, and then they've just, a week before or whatever, just quickly usurped them with this with this huge card. I'm guessing that's the case with the 1080 Ti. They're just keeping that on the banks. They're waiting for Vega to create that big bang, and then they're going to create their own big bang with the GTX 1080 Ti. That's going to be the case all over it. I think that's what's going to happen again.
I think so as well. I mean, they're saying there's a possibility that there's going to be, well, I think it's pretty much confirmed at this point that there's going to be 2 Vega chips, and one is going to be likely to compete with the 1070, 1080. So there'd probably be 2 models of that chip, like a slightly cut down version. I'm guessing that will be Vega 10. And then there'll be a higher end one, which is going to be their Titan killer probably. And that will go. Yeah, but they didn't,
like the 980 Ti era. The 980 Ti slaughtered the Fury X.
Oh yeah,
sure, so I'm hoping for not another repeat.
No one really bought the Fury X was so cool in that it was this all-in-one liquid cooler. It had the load indicator on the side, which was cool. Just as a package, it was really just a really cool graphics card. The problem was it just didn't deliver.
I wasn't a big fan of it. That's and then you had 4 gigabytes. Even though it was
4 gigabytes of HBM.
Even though it was HBM, it was still only 4 gigabytes. So there was a few things there that kind of like I thought the Fury X missed the mark, but I'm hoping this time around doesn't miss the mark. But at the same time, we can expect. All I'm going to say is that we can expect Nvidia to drop their 1080 Ti right around when the hype train's really getting close. And one thing that I'm saying to AMD, have they silenced that leak in their company yet? I heard years ago that there was a few leaks inside the AMD company, and they're just like, these guys are like, covert spies, and they're just leaking everything to Nvidia, all the AMD inside secrets. And that's what the rumor was, is that why Nvidia was able to do what they were doing with the release schedules. And, they were timing them so perfectly in the GTX, after the 6 series. Then when the 7 series came out, when the 780 came out, Titan came out, and then after that, the 9 series, all those releases were just timed to perfection. You know what I mean?
I think it probably goes both ways, because I've seen a documentary I was watching was sort of about this type of thing, and a lot of these tech companies will pay off people, and
big money.
They'll find out what they want to know from what's going on. So I think probably AMD and Nvidia pretty know to a certain degree what the other one's going to do, and they can base their strategies around that. But
well, I was gonna say this is a perfect time for a patron plug. You know what I mean? Like these guys are making big money to sell secrets, and I'm here eating baked beans, brothers. So come and join the patron army.
Yeah.
If you want it. Anyway, Z270 boards. We got here MSI Z270 has been leaked. Now, what do you think about this? I'm gonna let you take this away. What do you think about this gaming M7 that we've got here?
So I think looks-wise, I love it. I love the look of it. It's super sexy. Yeah, this is a great looking motherboard. It is triple M.2 slots, which is going to appeal to a lot of people as well. Yeah, I really like it. One thing that has started to become the norm now is on the PCI slots, you'll see that it has metal on them. That's quite cool. I really like that too.
Still reinforcing, brother. Still reinforcing, you know.
Yeah,
you're gonna take this thing out to the building site and start, you know.
Oh, I just
using
think
it as a chisel and a hammer.
Well. Yeah, so you got that. There's, you know, all the stuff you would expect with it as well. USB 3.1, all the rest of it. Everything we've talked about Z270 last week and pretty much what to expect with it. So that's really good too. But no, this looks really solid. There's nothing really that caught my eye as being.
It's starting. I mean, I think it's starting to get a little bit overkill. Like you're starting to see all this plastic, the shrouding. Like the shrouding is getting. Yeah, that's huge, man. Like that's getting pretty huge. Like especially up the top left here. You know, the gaming N7 portion. That's some pretty huge shrouding over that motherboard there. You know, like isn't that going to be like a bit of a sarcophagus for that VRM heatsink? You know.
Could be. I mean, likely you'll be able to take it off if you really didn't like it. There's also RGB everywhere, which is becoming the norm as well.
Hey, you can't look. You can't fight the RGB. You just can't anymore. I tried. I've already tried in the past. So I just gave up. You can't fight RGB anymore. It's coming. It's going to take over your house soon. You're going to see RGB. You know, kitchens and whatnot. It's just coming everywhere. You better get used to it. I've already just given up. I've got you're gonna see guys rolling around with RGBs under their cars, whatnot. It's coming everywhere. I mean, it's got into motherboards, so it's already infected. It's already infested, so it doesn't matter. I just quit. So but no, it's a pretty this is nice. There's a lot of slots there, which people will be good. Of course, it's just got standard. I'm a little bit worried about the height of this as well. I'm a little bit worried about, like in the past, I've had sort of this, especially on the Southbridge, or what do you call it, the Intel chipset hub nowadays, the ICH. Sometimes I've had a graphics card, it'll fit on and it'll just fit, and like I've had problems putting it on because this here has had this, you know, like tall sort of heatsink or whatever, or tall shroud coming up there. And like I'm a little bit worried about the left side as well. Is that going to get in the way of your graphics card, or they look like they're removable or whatnot? But at the same time, it's just like a bit too much. A little bit, you know. Sometimes you can go overboard, and I don't know. I'd have to see it in the flesh, but you know, from the pictures, it might look like a little bit of a Gundamization.
Yeah, I mean, some people might not.
So, that's the MSI board.
I think we'll know more. It gets unveiled on the 5th of January, so then we'll be able to talk about all these probably more and more detail. But yeah, it's going to be pretty good. They say it's got their MSI Lightning plus USB X boost, which is to help USB 3.1 transfer speeds to be over a gig.
The thing is about that, the thing about the USB 3 transfer speeds, I mean, is there any devices like realistically that consumers buy that can take advantage of those speeds? I mean, let's be honest.
Maybe it's being future proof in a few years down the road. People probably
you can upgrade your computer in a few years' time. Let's be honest.
True. Yeah.
So I mean,
it's interesting.
I mean, I do have like a HyperX USB, and this thing is fast over a USB 3. It's fast, but I mean, a USB 3.1 is still really no difference because I'm only transferring, not. The files aren't that big anyway, so even if there was a speed boost, I didn't even notice it. You know what I mean? It's like now they got super fast speeds, something that I'd never guess I really focus on because it doesn't really affect me. I mean, does it? Anyone in the comments, does these extra super fast speeds over USB affect you? If so, I'd love to hear what with. That'd be really cool. But we got here Aorus. I mean, is this? I had to reread the title. Yeah, Gigabyte. Like, there's no Gigabyte branding whatsoever on this motherboard.
You know what I mean? And this is what's happening now is that we'll probably see in the future, I would guess, that Gigabyte start to just brand everything as Aorus, the same way Asus has done with R.O.G, Republic of Gamers, and Kingston have done with their headsets under the HyperX banner.
Yeah.
We've already seen this with all the Aorus laptops, which you wouldn't even know were Gigabyte unless somebody told you, because you won't find Gigabyte anywhere on them. So this is probably what we're going to see going forward. But yeah, this is the pictures of their new Z270, the Gaming 7 model, and yeah, it looks a lot less flashy than the MSI we just saw, but it still looks pretty nice. There we're seeing it's
7700K pictured in there too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
NDA's out the window.
Yeah, it seems like it. So yeah, that's pretty nice. Yeah, a lot less slots, which I don't know, maybe one person would care about. Although no, it's only one less slot actually. Let's have a look at that. Oh, it's that two. Yeah, one less. Okay, so where they put the killer Ethernet.
Oh wow, SSD and RAID 0. Cool. You can go PCIe, NVMe, and RAID 0. That's pretty damn cool. So just looking at that text in close there. So that's really cool. I like this motherboard already. Look at that. You got some features up there. Looks like you've got really cool overclocking features on this board as well. See, that's bringing back the old school Gigabyte. That's bringing back the old school Gigabyte right there. That's what I like. Just focused on overclocking. You know, just rock solid VRM, awesome BIOS to deal with, and then you've got these extra features there as well. This is something that Gigabyte did so well, especially in the X58 genre. I mean, I love their X50. Like, I was a massive, huge fan. Their X58, I thought they killed it. Like, everyone was rocking a Gigabyte board back in the X58 days. And then sort of like it feels like they've lost that mojo, but now it's coming back with the Aorus. That's what I feel. Hopefully they can get that mojo back.
Yeah, well, hopefully. And I just noticed it does have the same amount of slots. Have just staggered them differently. This is what actually I think a lot more people will like, the way they've set out the PCI slots. But no, it's really nice. Yeah, this looks good. I mean, looks wise, I prefer the MSI a lot better. I like the more over the top looking motherboards, because my point of view is you're spending all this money, it may as well look over the top. I don't really go for minimalistic. I like the really stand out, be very eye catching. Make a statement.
I'm going to be honest.
Builds.
I'm loving the RGBs, man. Look, it's infested me too. I've been infested with RGB fever, man. I'm loving it now.
Yeah.
You can't help it. You're gonna look, dude. It doesn't matter. It'll take you probably a year. You're gonna be infested soon too. The audience is gonna get infested.
Yeah, I got MSI, man. I got my Corsair H115i that's got RGB on the pump. My
just need
Gigabyte
RGB
graphics card, that's RGB. I got RGB on the motherboard. We're on the same one. So.
RGB wallet, best idea for a startup company. RGB wallet, that is it. That is it, man. RGB wallet. That's going to be the next big thing. Who's making one? Kickstarter.
Everything's going to be, But that's the way it's going. But no, this is good. But as I said before, we'll know more about Z270 further down the road. But as of right now, from what me and Brian have both seen, I think it can be fair to say that there's nothing that's really blown either of us away. It's definitely looking good. I'm not taking anything away from it. I'm just saying it's not really blowing me away the same way Z170 sort of did in terms of an upgrade from
I don't know why I find myself
Z97.
critiquing the Gigabyte board more than the MSI board, but like I'd like that USB 3 on the side, that second one there. It's like, what are you guys doing?
It's awkward, eh? Yeah, I was looking at that too.
Straight away critiquing that. Also the amp up. I hope they don't stick a stereo amplifier on the headphone amp again. Oh man, on the X99 they stuck this huge amp on there, and it. Not only did it have the potential to send you deaf within seconds, but not only that, at low volumes, it was so unbalanced that, like your ears would be ringing because you'd have such a difference in frequencies. And so like, especially like the 7K sounds would just be popping in your ears and it'd just be like, oh, this is terrible. Like I had to, hopefully they don't make that same mistake as well with the audio. So yeah, look, your ears are important, guys. You only get one set of ears, so take care of them. They're just like your eyes, man. Would you stare at a real bright light for just hours and hours? That's how you have to compare it when listening to headphones at high volume. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm serious. Like, you know, if your ears are ringing after using a certain audio device, then that means, you know, you should really tone down. Your ears are telling you that they're getting damaged. One thing I notice about people in the gym lately, right, and I might tell my local gym, look, you might want to tell these guys who are exercising with headphones on to turn the volume down a lot, because when you exercise, your ears actually open up more because you're kind of in a heightened state, right? Your heart rate's going up and whatnot. So your ears are more sensitive, and then you're blasting them with music. It's like recipe for ear, you know, damage. So that's what I guess, you know, all these guys at the gym with like their Beats by Dre and stuff, they're doing their ears injustice, you know. Poor guys.
I never got into that when I was gymming heavily. I would just always listen to the music in the gym.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Fine. They've got awesome music in there on the stereo anyway. So
yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, so I don't know. Hey, but everyone's into different types of music nowadays, man. You just can't.
That's true.
One type does not fit all. No way. So.
Should we move on to this CSGO?
Oh, well, we'll quickly talk about this one, because Adobe's got a new. We'll just quickly talk about this. Adobe's new Photoshop for voice. I thought this was really crazy. We'll be able to put words into people's mouths. Like, literally, what happens here is apparently there's a new Project Voco. It's a software in the works. And it can basically, you give it 20 minutes of audio, and then it can start, you know, improvising someone's voice. And that's, you know, it can start emulating someone's voice. And that's crazy because, you know, all of us YouTubers out there, we've got much more than 20 minutes of voice. You know what I mean? So I'm scared of like what's going to come out of this. Hey, you know, YouTuber X voice recording does shady deal or whatever. And it's like, oh God, I can just imagine the headaches that are going to come out of this. Now you're going to have video proof or it's not been done. You know what I mean? So that's straight away.
I think this will be good because it seems
just the trolling. The potential for trolling is unprecedented with this. That's all
for sure. Right. You could definitely do some naughty things. But what this is cool is it's sort of bridging the gap between video editing and audio editing in the sense that you'll be able to do a lot more now with the audio than previously before. Where there's actually been quite a big separation between the two, where you could make a few mistakes with your video and then tidy it up in editing, but if you make the same sort of degree of mistakes in audio, you might need to redo it all. So that's going to be quite good for a lot of people.
One thing I was like, and as people pointed out in the comments just now, like, you know, we're waiting for Adobe to actually fix some of their software, and you know, that multi-threaded support, that proper multi-threaded support on the CPU side of things, I'm really waiting for that, because as people have pointed out, there was an update there that did allow you to utilize all that CPU power, you know, on over 16 threads, you know what I mean? So I'm wishing they would bring that back, because I'm looking to resurrect Unicron pretty soon, you know, that dual Xeon beast. And I'd love nothing but an update that brought back, you know, full utilization of your CPU again. That'd be awesome. So, like, anyway, that was just a really cool thing, like, that they're bringing out this software. I was like, damn, how's it exactly going to work? Because they've just got Audition up here. So that's Adobe Audition there. So, and I mean, you can already do a lot with Audition. Holy crap. You know, you can, like, there was a video of a guy removing sirens and then just extracting the voice out of a clip, and I thought that was incredible. So, you know, there's so much you can do. Next thing, we'll go on to this CS update here. It's pretty big news. It's circling around. Like, you know, CSGO is a huge title. Everyone, like, you know, everyone in the world plays this game. So competitive. And it's received an update, which is, you know, giving you head-related transfer function. So I haven't tried it yet. You know, again, I just wake up and check these news, and it's like, okay, this is some big news here. I've and I actually haven't even played video games for over a week, except for benchmarking, when I was benchmarking for the Relive. So, you know, I want to get some time to play some games. I know. A sad story. But apparently we got an update here that gives you headphone, essentially a dedicated headphone mode. It makes positioning a lot better. I mean, I thought positioning was already pretty good in CSGO. Like, with a good pair of headphones, I've always been able to position where people are. So, I mean, what do you take out of this? Have you tried it yet?
No, I don't actually play that much CSGO, so I was just sort of reading through this to see if there was anything big that I noticed, but it just seems like this is going to be a good little incremental upgrade, especially on the audio, with the sort of optimized experience for those running a 7.1 surround sound sort of setup.
Well, they do say here, for the optimal experience, they recommend turning off any of those 5.1 and 7.1 audio driver options. So like, it was funny because one of my friends came around. He's like, Brian, have you heard this? Like, have you heard the creative thing? Like, I think Dimitry from Hardware Canucks had this demo up there, and I'm like, yeah, man, I've heard it, tried it. I bet you it sounds like CMS 3D. That was Creative's old, emulating technology that they had in their old titanium HD sound cards, I believe. And I liked that in certain games. And it's got Dimitri, he's running through Battlefield. He's like, look at the difference. And, like I tried on my V motors and I was like, sounds better in stereo. And he's like looking at me like, it sounded better on my Sony headphones. And I'm like, yeah, I believe you. Maybe it was just hype. Maybe he saw Dimitri just sitting there like, you're going to love this. And he's like, I'm going to love this. And then he loved it. I don't know. But like, the CMS 3D, I mean, the emulation thing, I'm not blown away by it. I do like it in certain games, like especially like Skyrim. I think it works amazing. I love it in games like Skyrim. It sort of gives you that environmental feel and the echo-ness and whatever. It feels right in that environment. It just feels like in some environments, like you're running through, like you're in this little enclosed room, but all of a sudden you feel like you're in this massive hallway or this massive echoey, room. It just doesn't feel right sometimes, especially if you got good headphones on. So that's my thing about the emulation. But anyway, I don't know. I didn't even know how a CSGO update started.
I mean, what you're saying about Dimitri from Hardware Canucks is actually quite funny because that's.
Did you watch that demo?
No,
you should go watch it. It's pretty good. Like, he did a really good job on that video. It was actually a really good video.
He does a really good job on all his videos. I'm really impressed by the quality. He seems like a really nice guy. The only thing I usually take issue with is there's a lot of products over the years that I've tested that I thought were maybe not so good. And then I've gone and seen people link me to, when I give it a bit more of a harsher review, people like, oh, well, but Dimitri loved it, and I'll go over. And that's happened so many times now that I've bashed a product and I've gone over to his channel and then he's absolutely loved it. So I thought maybe it's just two differences of opinion.
He's probably just a positive guy,
It just seems like sometimes he's a bit like always sort of doing good reviews, but maybe he. Maybe not, but I'd have to look through his channel more. I'm sure he has done some harsher reviews on things, but I generally in the past, certainly with peripherals, me and him have differed quite a bit. But that's always going to happen. Different viewers like different things. Peripherals are always a hard thing to review because everyone has different tastes. So one headset I might love, Brian might hate type thing.
Well, no, I think that's the thing, though. I think as a tech channel, the more you grow, the more you have to pick out the products that are no name, no brand, no one's bought, and then you just go ham on them. I hate this product. And that way, you're like, oh, I'm going to build up my credibility this way. And, the big sponsors aren't going to piss, you're going to piss them off. So it's like, okay, well, let's start picking out some no-name products. Head over to banggood.com, find some no-name headphones, review. I hate this product. Yeah, guys.
I mean that's sort of thing.
That's the way you can do it. That's a YouTube success. 2016, 2017. You can do it that way if you want.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that it wouldn't be someone was saying reviewers are always highly opinionized, and that's true. But the thing is, I think I've seen it the most consistently when I've disliked a product. He's really, really endorsed it. It's been like a night and day difference between our opinions. Okay. And I've seen it consistently with things I've tested in the past. So that's the only thing that really caught my eye. But for all reviewers, you could go around different channels and you'll see.
Yeah, like I don't usually get into the politics of other YouTube channels. I say, I like to be friendly with them all because at the end of the day, we're all in this game together. You know what I mean? We're all making tech reviews. I know that, but I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, you know, he's a nice guy. I know he's a nice guy.
Great guy. Yeah, he's a great guy.
I've, you know, had interaction with him on Twitter and whatnot. He's a cool person. So that's all I really care about. You know, like, is the man behind the camera, is he a cool guy? And so, I mean, Dimitry seems like a cool guy. You know, and I'm not going to start, you know, I'm done with getting involved with other people's YouTube channels. I just don't want to go there at all. So
I've never even been there, man, but I don't even want to go there, you know.
So, you know, what they do is I wish everyone else the best, you know what I mean? I'm done with all the hate sort of cycle in my life. Trust me, I've had enough of it in the past from personal experiences. Yeah, so I just wish them all the best. You know, and I love his B-roll. I think he does some really good videos.
His case reviews are phenomenal.
Yeah,
the best case reviewer on YouTube for sure. So he's definitely a great guy. But there's that big difference of opinion there that I've seen a lot. But no, it's that's fine nevertheless. Do we want to talk about this Windows update briefly and then?
Just quickly. Also, they're fixing up the Nuke map. Apparently, they've changed the spawn as well. And they're fixing up some performance issues possibly on that map. So. There's also before we move on to the creators update, there's also Battlefield. Battlefront. We might as well just call it that, Battlefield Front 2, because it's just they're using the same engine. They're just rehashing Star Wars over the top of it. So Battlefield Front 2 is coming apparently next year, and it's going to have a campaign in it. So. My brother recently bought Battlefront, and I thought when they first released it, it didn't have a campaign, but he's playing this single player, and it looked really good. Like, he played through the whole Battlefront. He bought it for really cheap, used. And I was like, damn, that actually looks like a lot of fun, because I thought the multiplayer was kind of really repetitive and it got boring pretty quickly. But the single player actually looked really good. And he said the same thing. He finished it and he's like, damn, like the single player on Battlefront was really good. The multiplayer was just really crap. So, that's, I'm looking forward to it. If they do bring out a really polished single player campaign, I think Battlefront 2 could be a real big hit. And that's what I'm hoping for. So we got that. Anything you want to add on Battlefront 2?
Nah, man, you said it all.
Okay.
I was never that captivated by it, would be the nice way to put it ever. It never did much for me. I never really got into it. Yeah.
Right on. Okay, coming soon to Windows 10. Windows introduces. So, I mean, you can take this away. I mean, it's not much.
Yeah, it's not much here, guys. So if you want to start leaving your questions to us, we'll do a quick Q&A.
Also, someone asked, he's got $4 headphones. Like, brother, $4, damn, man. But if you want a cheap upgrade, go get the KSC 75s. They're an excellent entry starting headphone. They're I think they're $11 on Amazon at the moment.
Damn.
Such good value for money, right? Go get the KSC 75s. And then we can work from there. Go get those as a starting, baseline starter, because from there, audio becomes any man's game. And what I mean by that is some people might like bass, some people might mids, some people might like treble. So they're a great starting headphone. The audio coming out of those things is phenomenal for $11. But you got to figure out, do you like that sound? It's a warmish. I'd call it a warmish sound. I really like the sound coming out of the KSC 75s. And then I went on to the Fidelio L1s, which is kind of the similar sound signature. If you want more treble, then you can move on to something else. Grados. If you want even more of a warmer sound, then you can go into some of those dark Sennheiser headphones or whatever. So, I'd start off with the KSC 75s. Great. And you might even be finished with the KSC 75s. You might be like, this is good enough for me. I don't even need to get anything else. So, choice is yours. So, anyway, coming soon to Windows 10.
To add on to that, these guys that I'm wearing, I did a review of them the other day. These are the Kingston HyperX. Well, it's not really.
Are they the $50 ones?
HyperX. These are the Cloud Stingers. They're probably $50 in Australia. I love them, man. These are the best value for money.
They hit hard. They do hit hard.
They do really good for the price. I gave it a really good review. Anyways, on to Windows 10. There's not much really here. All this basically is going to be is a creators update to help people doing 3D stuff. So you can do that in Paint 3D, which will be quite interesting. So you'll be able to make 3D stuff a bit easier, but you guys probably, most of you won't care about most of this stuff. But down the bottom here, which is relevant, is they're saying this is the best platform for game broadcasting and for 4K gaming, which I think most of us already knew. But yeah, so they're saying that, I don't know, maybe there's some update there.
I'm just going to ask. I'm going to ask the audience. Do you guys want me to go cynical on this?
Go cynical.
Yeah, on this Windows 10 Creators Update, I can go cynical. Okay, so basically basically what's happening here, they're giving you a few little features, trying to lock you into more proprietary stuff, give you a refresh of telemetry updates there to lock you in, and all those people who previously optimized their Windows and sort of disabled the telemetry, you're going to get another round of that. Just to get you back connected to the telemetry database so they can mine more data off you and get more money off you. There, Creators Update coming soon to you guys. Bang. Okay. Yeah, do we want to talk more about it or what?
Tinfoil hat.
The people in the comments wanted it, brothers. I'll go cynical.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Mr. Sinister. Oh, he was an amazing X-Men character. Hey, he was a boss. Yeah.
All right. Let's just take some questions. I'll throw one out there for Brian on your guys' behalf. Yeah. Right now, in terms of used GPUs, what are you seeing as sort of the main good used GPU in terms of pricing right now? 7970, is that sort of a good one?
I'm loving that. There's going to be a few different cards out there depending on how much you can get them for. I'd say 780s would be going cheap. You'd have 7970s. You'd also have 7870s. I'd be definitely looking at those too. Right. For a cheap 1080p gaming rig, a 7870 at the right price is definitely going to hit the mark well. Someone said in the comments, 78 Ti, like 780 Ti, a lot of people don't want to let those cards go. Hey, like I'm finding I've been looking for 780 Ti's. And it's like people are just bear hugging their 780 Ti. They don't want to let them go. 290s are going pretty cheap. People want to let the 290s go.
Yeah, 290s. Yeah.
They're going really good as well.
You can get a good deal out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I bet people don't see that often is the 7990. Well, you probably see maybe the odd one of those around, but that was basically two 7970s put together.
Yeah.
If you ever managed to find one of those, that'd be a pretty powerful graphics card.
Yeah. Who's the girl in the bag? It's probably my mum, man. She's got holidays at the moment, so she's a teacher. she's like she's addicted to cleaning as well. She just doesn't stop cleaning all day. So.
Kevin and Brian, best mouse for cheap at the moment, Logitech 403. It's going to depend on where you live. I like the Logitech range is very good. So that's sort of your 403. Yeah, for sure. Could also go.
I love used
303 if you want.
I love used parts, but one thing I will say is never buy a used mouse.
No, don't do that. No, don't do that. Just buy new guys. They're pretty cheap to begin with, so you can get yourself a good one. But yeah, 303 or 402 or 403 or the 502 or 503, all of them are good if you want to go something non-Logitech.
I've got the Taipan. I love the Taipan, man. It's the shape of this thing is so damn good. Of course, I came from the G3. I love the G3. Logitech G3. This is probably the closest thing to the G3 in terms of weight distribution and balance and stuff, of course. The Synapse is a little bit annoying, Razer Synapse, but other than that, I love the Taipan. Like, it is a freaking amazing mouse. Of course, you're going to want to get a good mouse pad. This is the funny thing. I've got this Robert Space Industries mouse pad here, and it's trash. Like, it's terrible for gaming on. So you probably see in the background here, I've got a Artisan, just a quick one that I just drop on. Like, this is just for the looks. But when when I'm actually gaming, I drop the Artisan pad on there, or the Razer Goliathus. Razer Goliathus mouse pad, really good as well, really freaking good.
Yeah, that's what I used to run. So that's
the
really
Control
good.
Edition too.
That's what I had. Yeah, that was fantastic. So yeah, definitely get a good mouse pad. The other thing, other ones that are not Logitech, I would say this is depending on where you live. The Zowie gaming mice.
They're good.
The ECTs, they're very good as well. Yeah. The Ducky Secret Mouse, that's what I personally use. My gaming mouse is the Ducky Secret Mouse, and that's here in New Zealand. maybe not as affordable. It comes in at $100 or 99. It might be a bit cheaper now on special. I've seen them go down to about 80. But yeah, this is what I use personally. I loved it. It's just a great all rounder. So yeah, there's plenty out there.
I still got to try still got to try some of those cheap mice too as well. Apparently, people are saying like, can an is $10 eBay mice any good? I want to check that out. So there was that Anchor as well. That was actually a nice mouse. I tried. There was an Anchor mouse out there. There's just a lot of good options out there. Even the Velocify I recently reviewed, that thing was solid as well. So there's some really good mice that aren't your mainstream brands as well, that has actually got good hardware in them. They feel really nice. I just love the Type N. I've tried a lot of different mice, and it's sort of like my half decent successor to my G3. So yeah, coffee's in the jar mug. Also, I got asked about the water cooling loop part 3. Is that coming? Yes, it is. Like, I want to do something different with it though. Like, I want to actually up the cosmetics this time, because part 1 and part 2, man, that was just freaking so ugly. That loop was like the ugliest loop I've ever done in my life. So with part 3, I wanted to get a heap of time together. I'd probably be after Christmas, and I actually wanted to build a rig with it, eBay parts, whatever, and actually have custom tubing in there that looks really nice. 360mm rad, GPU, CPU, all under the one rad. Good pump, and then see how it runs this time around. So that's with part 3. So hopefully I can deliver this time around with good temperatures, something that's actually worth the money and something that people will actually want to go out and do, unlike part 1 and 2, which I wouldn't recommend to anyone. Just don't do that to yourself. Unless of course you want to dance with your water cooling loop. But I might remake that. I might remake it just so I can jump on a car and dance with it. Like,
if you really
play some 80s music,
someone asked answer from both of you, your view on Pebble and Kickstarter. I'm guessing you're referring to the fact that Pebble got bought out and people on Kickstarter were maybe less than thrilled about that. I can't really say much because I haven't kept up with it as much as I guess I probably should have. But from what I've heard and friends of mine who have kept up with it and have been big supporters of Pebble were quite upset, to put it mildly. The people that really looked after them were a bit worried. So yeah. That's not really.
Oh, Easy Gunner's in the comments. Easy Gunner H2, how you doing, man? He makes some incredible custom PCs, this guy. It's off the charts. So he's on the forums as well. He's been posting on the forum some of his builds. Go check him out. It's crazy. Any more questions, though? Any more questions before we wrap this bad boy up? So would I consider using Tom Clancy's The Division as part of my benchmarking? Okay, that's a fair request. I'll see how we go. Definitely. What happened to Kev? He reloaded his webcam.
It was laggy.
So, I don't know. There's something also going on with the Nvidia versus AMD in the comments. So I'm not going to get involved in that one.
Fanboys all over this
I want to have a relaxing Monday here.
Oh, one thing I will throw in at the end. This is something I've been getting a lot on my channel, and this is something we can just sort of end the show on. What do you think of the argument people are making over a DX12 or a Vulkan in terms of what will be the future? Because a lot of people get grumpy at me because I say that DX12 is the future and I don't see Vulkan going anywhere. And that's really rustled a lot of people out there. But I'm basing that on is the fact that Vulkan has only got support on 6 games right now, and DX12 has support on how many games now?
I know
Crazy.
That, but you've got to look at the quality of the games that are supporting that. You know what I mean? Like, you look for instance, when Doom was like one of the first titles to really showcase what a proper, low-level API can do, like Vulkan. DX12, really what we've seen now is, these games can support DX12, but the games are running freaking worse than they are on DX11, even on AMD cards.
I'm not talking so much about which one's better, because I definitely know that Vulkan has some very good points. It's just that, I
know that, but at the same time, this is where my argument's going. It's like, okay, well, if you want to bring out support for those games, you're going to want to have people wanting to jump on that DX12 architecture. API. So what do you have to do, right? Windows 10's selling point is that it supports DX12. But if people aren't running games on DX12, they're going to say, why do I need to go to Windows 10? I'm just going to go back to 8.1 or 7, which are cheaper. Yeah. I'd say they run better. You know, so if Vulkan keeps coming out with these, you know, really good ports where they're, you know, well, from the ground up, where they're optimized for their API and they're running better, then people are just going to ignore DX12. If DX12 keeps tarnishing its name by releasing shitty ports, people aren't even going to bother testing DX12 anymore.
I think it's still in its early days, though, and I think once they get it right, it will be way better.
Ages. It's been out for ages now, DX12. Like, it's had time to spread its wings, and it hasn't yet. Like, you name one game that really kicks ass on DX12 compared to DX11. Name one game for me.
Nothing much, really.
Yeah, well, nothing. Stage. Yeah, I can't think of a game.
I mean, everything sort of takes a bit of a hit.
Well, Vulkan's already hit like hard with Vulkan. I mean, Vulkan on Doom, it was huge. You know? Yeah,
I think it's more that DX11 has gotten to such a good point that it's, you know, but Vulkan is better. It's it is hard to say at this stage. We can only guess, but I would.
Ashes, man, I thought Ashes ran like shit on DX12. Someone's saying in the comments, no, Ashes ran like crap on DX12. Have you guys played Ashes on DX12? I played it on both Nvidia and AMD cards. I went straight back to DX11. Couldn't revert back faster.
Yeah, I mean, I played Deus Ex on DX12, and I thought it was a bit better. But
I mean, we were talking about, like, you know, like, and of course you might get like 2 extra FPS, but I've noticed even when you get that, you've got this stuttering and shit now. It's terrible. Like, I'm OCD about stuttering, and when you get stuttering introduced with the game, I don't want to play it on stuttering. I'm sure anyone else doesn't. They're going to revert back straight away. So I think, you know, Microsoft have to be careful with DX12. I think they have to be careful. I mean, I know they're trying to lock it in with this proprietary stuff and, you know, bring that, you know, back to the Windows 10 branding. But they got to be careful with that, because Vulkan could easily come in and, you know, tricks of the trade come easily and do a little backstab there. You know, it's a little sneaky. You know, like a known rogue in World of Warcraft.
The funniest thing is that everyone's so divided over this, but it actually doesn't matter that much. I think at the end of the day, right now, anyways, pretty much most people will just use DX11 anyways. The vast majority of users will just stick with DX11. So unless something big changes in the future, I don't see it being as big of a deal as some people make it out to be right now. But no, I still feel like DX12 is going to be the front runner in the future, and Vulkan will be around. I'm not saying it'll go away. I just think Vulkan will be relegated to more like what indie game developers use and people like that.
I just hope it doesn't. I hope it becomes more mainstream. And like I said before, they can have all the titles they want on DX12. All Vulkan has to do is bring it in, you know, introduce itself into Counter-Strike, CSGO, all the popular multiplayer titles, World of Warcraft, you know, whatever, Dota 2. It's already in Dota 2, right? League of Legends, you know, all these real popular Overwatch. If it can get into all these games, digs its hands in there, then guess what? People are going to be like, well, I'll just use a free OS because all I do is play my online competitive multiplayer games. That's what Vulkan needs to do. And once Vulkan starts gaining mainstream traction, DX12 can get left in the dust. There's still the potential for that to happen. So,
I mean, there's someone was saying Vulkan will die like Mantle did. I don't see that happening.
Depends.
I mean, Doom
possibility.
It could, but I don't see it to the same degree. But the Doom is such a funny game. Like, being OpenGL or Vulkan is bizarre. Like, it was just because John Carmack just hates Microsoft, I think. So,
well, I mean, got asked on Linux distros. I don't have time really at the moment, eh? So, yeah. How about you? Sorry, I interrupted you.
Nah, it's just that's pretty much all I want to say. So, do we want to round out the show? Then you want to give the forums another plug, and then we'll round
forums,
it up.
And of course, guys, if you want to see me eat more than baked beans, I mean, hey, since yesterday, got some more Patreon donations. Thank you guys so much. There'll be a Patreon live stream coming as well, pretty soon as well. Probably the next few days, I'll be doing a Patreon live stream showing you guys how to overclock X58. There's some little tricks of the trade that I'm going to teach you guys. You know, Gnome Rogue, that stuff. Hopefully, Vulkan can be, you know, they can use the mascot, the Gnome Rogue from World of Warcraft. as their new mascot, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to come and do a gnome rogue. Come do a little, a little sneaky on DX12. That's what they're going to do. Anyway, yeah, Patreon, it's right there. If you want to see me eat more than baked beans. I had baked beans for breakfast, actually, this morning. I might even top it off for lunch. But yeah, forums as well. Come join. Really awesome place to be. Really awesome crew on the forums. Loving it. And yeah, I'll catch you guys. Yeah, I'm going to hit the gym as well. So yeah, I am hitting the gym a little bit later. Probably I'm just going to be doing some cardio today because just going to be doing some cardio today because yeah, my back's like I'm replacing my chair as well. My chair, I've got a new chair coming in from eBay. It's replacing the this chair. Like I'm using the actual, I snaked my brother's chair because this one, the back's fallen off, right? And because I've used it with no back for like a month now, like my back is literally just in the middle. It's like sore as, so you got to do something.
Yeah, get yourself a good chair, man. Like I'm running the AK Racing, and it's nice, man. This is the Carbon V2, and I love it. Could never go back. So good.
Okay. All right. Does it make you a race car driver too?
I had bucket seats in my old car I had, but yeah, it feels sort of doesn't hold you in as tight, but it's still very nice, very very comfortable, man. They're sort of when you first sit in them, maybe they're not that comfortable, but after extended use, they're really really nice.
Right on, yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks so much. Yeah, it's just really great. We're having a great time doing these, so definitely. Catch us next week, and I thank you guys for
and I'll put the link for
really
Ked's channel. I'll put the link for his channel in the description below, so go check that out. And also, we will catch you guys next week for another episode of the Tech Lounge. Also, if you want to jump on the forum, suggest topics as well, bang, all for that as well. Love to see you guys on the forums. Definitely. Awesome community. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Y'all have a great day or night wherever you're at, and I'll see you next week. Peace out for now. I'm just timing it with timing the outro with me cutting off the stream. Peace out for now.